Hey, good morning, you guys. Welcome back to Leah's vlog. So today is the beginning of my work week. If you have not watched my first video, I have basically decreased my status, so I work PRN. And this week I'm only working one 12-hour shift, which is today, Wednesday, and then tomorrow I'll come in for 8 hours, which is great. And then I'm done until I decide to come back in. But I want to just basically highlight some of the main things about my shift today so that it could be a learning experience for you if you are a student nurse or a nurse that wants to work on a med surgical floor. So I'll just basically just be highlighting the main things of my shifts for this week, and then basically try to provide some things or some lessons that were learned and some encouragement for you. So I hope you find this video helpful. Let's get into it. I'm about to go into work, and please ignore my eyes. Before I go into work, I always worship or find some uplifting music and do my prayers. I have to start my shift right, and also pray that there will be no codes, no ERTs, just basically an easy day of just passing meds. Come on, won't God do it? Right now I'm just putting my lunch in the refrigerator and then taking all of my supplies out. Okay, as you can see, I have grabbed a post-it note and I have quickly jotted down the patients that I have and any important notes. So I typically arrive about 30 minutes prior to my shift so that I can give myself ample time to look up my patients. Okay, so right now I am continuing to prepare for my shift. I'm actually on our computer system, our iHIS system or Epic computer system, just looking up important things as to why the patient's here, important lab results, some testing they have already completed or due to complete for this shift, important things I need to know as far as orders, any dressing changes, if they are diabetic and how often to check their sugars, also any weight bearing statuses if they are orthopedic patients, and any surgeries due. So after I've reviewed Epic in regards to my patients, I actually print off the patient handoff report straight from Epic, and that's what I use to write down all the important information. But in addition to that, I actually take a blank sheet of paper, as you see here, and I just jot down important information in regards to all my patients that I have to readily remember for doctors and other professionals. So all right, once I have received report from the night nurses and actually given report to my CNAs and printed my tele strips, it is now time to head to the med room to stock my drawer and to pull the medications for my first patient. Okay, hey guys, it's about 9:13. It's only like 2 hours or so into my shift. I actually have passed meds and did assessments on 3 of them. I still have 1 more. I think my 3 of my patients are either on like enteric precautions or droplet in contact. I have 1 COVID. I have 1 refusing to do COVID, so I still have to gown up. Just a lot of I wouldn't say it's been a difficult shift thus far, but there's a lot of if, ands, or buts. A lot of people on CWAP precautions and cows. I have dressings to do. So right now my priority is just passing meds and just making sure my orders match basically what's going on with my patients, and the doctors are rounding, so a lot of people may be getting discharged and things of that sort. So the first few hours are just making sure all of the orders are in line with patients, because some people transfer from the ICU or whatever and doctors forget to update orders, making sure people who are on telemetry should be on telemetry, reading my tele strip. I already did that, and just making sure people are comfortable stay. I have 1 more patient to give meds to. All right, here we go. Okay, so I am preparing to administer Ativan to a patient who is undergoing alcohol withdrawal symptoms, and per the CWA scale or assessment tool that we use at our hospital, he is well within the parameters to receive an injection of Ativan. So that's what I'm doing right now. All right, so once I administered the Ativan injection to my patient, it was my turn to sit for a particular patient who requires one-to-one observation or requires a sitter at the bedside 24/7. So this is my 30-minute time to sit and monitor this patient. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, I have a patient who requires about 3 or 4 dressing changes, so I am getting my materials together and pulling them from our Omnicell at this current time. Okay, so I am finally on my lunch break. As you can see, I am in like somewhat of a cubby hole eating lunch, but it's okay. I didn't want to go back downstairs, and they still have the COVID rule, like 2 or more people are not allowed in the lunchroom. So I am sitting in a spare room eating my lunch. I took going to my lunch. It's about 2:24, and I just started my lunch about 10 minutes ago. This is a typical day eating lunch about like 2ish. Yeah, it just seems like even when I'm trying to go to lunch, stuff just happens. So when I was trying to go to lunch, IV pump didn't work. A patient just randomly got discharged, and I have another patient that's on a video sitter that I had to go check on. He had some issues going on. So far it's been just a normal day. It hasn't been overwhelming, no codes, no ERTs. It has been just a simple day of passing meds. I have 1 total patient. The other 3 are independent, but 1 is on a video sitter just because he's confused. So it's just been a little in and out of monitoring and watching patients, but nothing too difficult. So it's been a good day so far. We'll see how it goes. I always say from like 3 to 7 is like hell hours where everything that could go wrong goes wrong, but hey, we're making it through the day. All right, so I had a few afternoon med passes, so I'm collecting my meds now. Okay, now I am just acknowledging the new orders that the physician has put in for this patient and just making sure that I have obtained all my necessary supplies before entering the room. Y'all, I absolutely love this water bottle. As you can see, the markings keep you on track of how much water you should drink. It helps me to stay hydrated during my shift. So it is, I think it's 6:30. My shift ends at 7. But I just got a call that I'm getting a new event. It always happens. So even though I should be winding down, I'm actually getting prepared for another patient that's coming. But I also just had to pull 1 more med. So even though the shift is winding down, I still have a few things to do. May I have your attention, please? Okay, you guys, so I have clocked out for shift 1 of 2. It was actually a very good day. My patient did come in exactly 7 o'clock, but he was kind of walkie-talkie, just was on peritoneal dialysis and a PCA pump, so it wasn't as bad. Hopefully I get the same patients back tomorrow. So I guess one thing that I've learned during this shift, I think I stated earlier in this video, is that when a nurse or a PCA basically titles or labels a patient as difficult, do not take their assessment as your assessment. Go in and be objective and get to know the patient yourself, because I did have what they call like a difficult patient per the nurse, the night nurse, and the PCA. They were like, oh my gosh, you're gonna have a terrible shift. And I did not have any problems for her. They said that she was a completely different person compared to what they've been experiencing. And I just like I make sure that I'm coming in, I'm not tossing them around, I'm being gentle with my touch, I'm listening to what they have to say. And when that happens, I get pretty much good results when dealing with. And I also pray, like for real, I pray that God will be with me during the shift, and it will be a good shift, and I get good results. Some other things is that a lot of times we have new, I would say, PCAs. Some people will call them CNAs, but we call them PCAs in Ohio. That a lot of them, I wouldn't say they weren't trained properly, but they trained how to do the job, but dealing with the emotional aspect of being tossed and turned and your phone being ringing all the time. A lot of them don't know how to handle that. So I spend a lot of my time specifically like listening to PCAs and helping them learn how to basically prioritize and to not let the job get them, make them emotionally drained and upset, and just how to prioritize and just do things one at a time. Because sometimes working in a hospital and working a 12-hour shift, when you have people who are on video sitters, people who are totaled, it's a lot. So I spent a lot of my day just encouraging my PCAs and helping them out when I could. So it was a good shift, and I have an 8-hour one tomorrow, and then I'll be done. All right. Y'all, I deal with a lot sometimes during my shift, so I have to worship, put on my favorite worship song or my favorite gospel rap song, and just spend my time with the Lord. All right, so get ready to walk into work. It's going to be a great day. I've already prayed over my patients, over myself. I just tried to think positive. Okay, so my day is officially starting. I am actually pulling my meds to begin my first med pass on my first patient. Okay, so right now I'm on the phone with CT because one of my patients has to be prepared to go down for their procedure. Okay, now it's time to do some charting and hydrate myself. Okay, so because I am only working 8 hours today, I actually am going to lunch at about noon, and I'm headed out to the food truck because they have the best food. We have a different food truck that comes to our hospital, so I'm headed out to the food truck to grab something to eat. Okay, so my shift is over. It is about 3:50, which is actually good. Technically, I am scheduled to work till 3:30, but it takes time for the nurse that's coming to relieve me to come and then to give them a report. So yeah, I learned a lot today. Today I had the guy with a peritoneal dialysis. He was very independent. He was actually teaching me. And that's one of the things I guess I learned from these two shifts is that it is okay as a nurse if I don't know everything. You're not going to know everything. I used to be really hard on myself and be like, man, I should know this. I went through nursing school. There's so much in the nursing field, so much in the medical field. We cannot know everything. And don't feel bad if you don't know something. Ask the question, ask another nurse. And it's funny because when those thoughts started to change is when I realized I would ask questions to the experienced nurses, and they'd be like, I don't know. And I'm like, what? You don't know? You've been a nurse for 20 years? So it feels good. And then just to piggyback off of yesterday's, treat people like you want to be treated and you will get good results. I had a patient with advanced dementia, very combative and all that sorts from other nurses, their report of her. She gave me no kind of problems at all. None. So today was a good shift. I'm so happy to be a nurse. If you are a nurse, remember why you became a nurse. Remember that on those difficult times where you feel overwhelmed, remember that. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that bell for notifications of my next video. All right, y'all have a good day.